Hello, 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 and welcome to our Facebook Live at 5 with Baxter Professional Services. I'm Tina Baxter, and I am your hostess for today. And I wanted to go ahead and start off with our affirmations. Hello to those that are on our Baxter Professional Services page, and those of you that are on our Nurse Shark Academy page. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and get started with our affirmations for today, Wednesday, June the 22nd, 2022. I love this one. This is the one for today, and it says, I joyfully keep my inner child safe at the center of my being. I love and cherish my inner child. I'll say that again. I joyfully keep my inner child safe and at the center of my being. I love and cherish my inner child. Then I have the another one. I move freely and easily, knowing that each moment is new and special. I move freely and easily, knowing that each moment is new and special. And this is one, oh, I really resonate with this one. I am very good at giving encouragement and positive feedback to others. I am very good at giving encouragement and positive feedback to others. So, those are some of our affirmations for the week from the Louise Hay calendar. I can do it. The 2022 calendar, 365 daily affirmations. Again, I save them all, and no, Louise is not paying me any money to endorse this. But if you want to get this, you can order this online. Feel free to order it. All right, so sorry about that. Let's get started on the news. Um, Give me 1 second. I'm going to hop off camera for a second. Normally I don't do this, but I need to do this. And I'm going to tell you why I hopped off camera. I wanted to be able to share this with you. So I want to go back to our What I Am Reading segment for our leadership moment. And I happened to pick up this book. And I want to show you this picture. Does she look fabulous? So when I saw this book, it said, We Should All Be Millionaires. And I saw her picture. That's what drew me in. This is from Rochelle Rogers. And I love what she has written in her book. And in particularly, when I was reading the part about imposter syndrome, it was kind of interesting. It says in her book, this is a chapter on the $1 million value. She says, there is a painfully high price of imposter syndrome. As a woman, you are probably paying this price daily. Imposter syndrome is one of the greatest challenges to women's wealth. To earn millions, you first have to stop believing what the world says you are capable of as a black woman, lesbian woman, disabled woman, fat woman, trans woman, loud woman, bossy woman, or filthy mouth woman. Whatever kind of woman you are, the media is sending you messages every day to convince you that you are not good enough. Don't you believe it? What imposter syndrome is, why you probably have it, even if you think you don't, and how it's blocking you from wealth. So she goes on to say that this is the different ways imposter syndrome shows up. And I'm going to tell you, you could probably figure out which one resonated with me, but I'll tell you. One is this one. It can look like winning a prestigious award, but secretly believing it was just a fluke and you really didn't deserve it. Which is one of the reasons why I have the Nursing Making a Difference segment, and we do have some nurses that we're going to highlight today. It says, constantly delivering high quality work to your boss, receiving praise or even merit-based bonus, but quietly believing that you don't really know what you're doing and one day they'll find out. This one is what hit me. Earning a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate, plus a slew of additional certifications, certified life coach, certified project manager, certified dolphin trainer, just for good measure, and still feel like you're not qualified enough to go after your dream job or charge top dollar for your services. That one hit me hard, and I'm going to tell you why. As nurses, what do? We go back to school and we get the alphabet soup after our name. And I recently had a conversation with someone who said, "Oh, you must be very smart because you got all the letters behind your name, right?" And I wonder if we're selling ourselves short by looking for the alphabet soup. And so that one hit me hard. She's got several others, but I like this one too. This is another one that hit me hard, and I'm going to tell you my pain points here because I think this is awesome. She says, working for free or undercharging your services because you're terrified that you suck at whatever service you're providing. So you figure if you can only charge $15 instead of a hundred or 1,500, then nobody can get mad at you when they realize that you suck. And she goes, and I'm quoting, "This is the most batshit crazy nonsense, but so many of us women do this. It's wild." It's true. And now I am not saying that I do that any longer, but it took my coach telling me you need to raise your prices. It took my coach telling me what you have to offer is more valuable and you don't give yourself enough credit. And I think we do that. I tell that to other people, but yet it's so hard for us to do it for ourselves sometimes. And so I was very intrigued by this chapter. I love this because it's all the things that we know, but we sometimes fail to practice. I love this other point, and then we move on. It says, having an avalanche of evidence, statistics, case studies, testimonials, endorsements to confirm that you're excellent at fitness training, marketing, designing sleek, contemporary, avant-garde goldfish tanks, or whatever you do, and yet continually doubting that you're good enough. And so this is what she says, or like me, dreaming about creating something amazing, but not believing you're capable of leading the project yourself, and then getting yourself into inadequate partnerships that end up costing you money, time, and sanity. This is a great read in this chapter. And she says, imposter syndrome doesn't just make you feel shitty about yourself, it also keeps you broke. And that is something that I think we should address because I think that those of you on the Nurse Shark Academy side, I got to tell you that's something we need to address in the Nurse Shark Academy is that imposter syndrome because I think that's what's keeping us from moving forward. And I and it's one of those things that I had to struggle with and through as most of you did. And I have to tell you, it was amazing for me to be in a program that I was in a couple years ago, back in 2020, believe it or not, was Advancing Indie Women. And that was through IUPUI and linking indie women, and I was in the inaugural class, and that was something that we talked about among this group of phenomenal women is having that imposter syndrome. And I have to thank my friends in my Ladies of Justice. Shout out to Ladies of Justice because we tackled this even before I got to Advancing Indie Women. So we talked about this in Ladies of Justice. So, but I bring that up because I think so many times we limit ourselves from what we could do because we think that we aren't good enough. We don't have what it takes. And I'm here to be your encourager. Like it said, I'm here to encourage and empower people, and that's what I do. So let's get on with the news. Okay, so our first story, top news story right now in healthcare. This is coming from the Miami Herald. And I happened across this because remember we were following this story about the nursing homes that were evacuated during Hurricane Ida and all that was happening with that and them being put in warehouses. Yeah, this is the story. Yeah. So this is a continuation from that. Coming out of New Orleans, it says the owner of 7 Louisiana nursing homes whose residents suffered in squalid conditions after being evacuated to a warehouse as Hurricane Ida approached last year was arrested on Wednesday. Louisiana Attorney Jeff Landry announced. So this gentleman, by the way, has lost his nursing homes. They've taken those nursing homes away from him. And now he's been arrested. So Bob Glenn Dean Jr., 68, faces multiple counts of cruelty to persons with infirmities, Medicaid fraud, and obstruction of justice, the Attorney General said in a news release. And the days after Ida hit last August 29th, the state reported the deaths of 7 people who had been evacuated to the warehouse in the town of Independence. 5 were classified as storm-related deaths. State and federal officials described miserable conditions at the warehouse, with some bedridden residents on floor mattresses crying for help and some with full diapers. Online booking records show that Dean was in custody Wednesday afternoon in Tangipahoa Parish. I probably mispronounced that, sorry. His attorney did not immediately respond to an email request for comment. In the news release, Landry said Dean billed Medicaid for dates his residents were not receiving proper care at the warehouse and engaged in conduct intended to intimidate or obstruct public officials and law enforcement. Dean has already lost the state licenses for his 7 facilities after moving hundreds of residents to a poorly equipped warehouse as Ida approached. In May of this year, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced it was prohibiting Dean from receiving federal funding, including Medicare. Ida blasted ashore last August as one of the most powerful storms ever to hit the U.S. And so, again, this is the story. So now coming up, we find out that the former owner of these nursing homes has been arrested. He has been charged. He has not been convicted yet. He has been charged. So just to keep you abreast and follow up with that story, I wanted to make sure that we continue to talk about this and follow this case. So that brings me up to our next case. Our next story. This is from CBS Evening News. And this is about nursing homes face severe staffing shortages and putting the elderly at risk. So this is coming out from Newton, North Carolina. It says a majority of nursing homes in the U.S. are facing staffing shortages, according to a recent survey, which can result in unsafe conditions for the nation's elderly. The survey, released this month by the American Health Care Association, found that 98% of nursing home operators are having trouble hiring, 59% said they are losing money, and 73% said staffing issues could force them to close. Again, this is from CBS News, so I'm just reporting. Okay, these are statistics from the American Health Care Association. So according to the executive director of Abernathy Laurels, a senior living community outside Charlotte, North Carolina, Amber McIntosh says, I think COVID took it to a different level. Jackie Rojo Sanchez, a certified nursing assistant, looks after 8 residents each shift at Abernathy Laurels. But Deandra Clark, a traveling certified nursing assistant in the same area, sometimes has to look after 20 or more. She's quoted as saying, I've never been to a place which was fully staffed yet. And so these are the issues that we're seeing post-pandemic of this chronic understaffing because we aren't finding workers to fill the gap, fill the need. And that's what I've been reporting on about the shortage in healthcare, in nursing, and across the board. And we've got to do something to help these facilities get staff. The impact of the staffing shortage have had on care is bad, according to Clark, adding that she hears residents yelling, you go in their room, and they're on the floor. And again, I'm reporting this from CBS News. So McIntosh says CNAs are the backbone of nursing homes. Without them, she says, they cannot function. Last January, North Carolina investigated 2 deaths at Pine Ridge Health and Rehabilitation Center in the city of Thomasville. Investigators found that 1 nurse and 2 CNAs cared for 98 people. The center was subsequently sanctioned. Again, I'm like, 2 CNAs and 1 nurse, 98 people. I've heard of nightmare scenarios like that in the past, but this is something that's going on more and more, and this cannot continue. So the union representing 250,000 nursing home workers demonstrated for better pay and staffing. They said Mary Kay Henry, the president of Service Employees International Union, says the status quo is unsustainable for workers in this industry, for the residents that are cared for, and for the best employers. To recruit more CNAs like Sanchez, Abernathy Laurels raised pay to $16 an hour. It also started paying to train and certify new CNAs. McIntosh says it was an investment, but most nursing homes remain understaffed and some dangerously so. Clark says it's just a form of neglect, and I don't want to be a part of that. So again, this is something that's happening across the country. And I'm not picking on the nursing home industry, but I'm sounding an alarm saying that because of COVID and the things that have happened, they need desperate help, and we need to get people trained to become CNAs to work in these facilities. And then once they get the jobs there, we need to be able to pay them equitably so that they can take care of their family, so they're not working 2 or 3 jobs and burnt out. So it's a vicious cycle, and so we need to do something more. But this is something that is across the country becoming an issue. So that brings up this story from AARP, and it says AARP Ohio calls attention to elder abuse and neglect. This is from the Sydney Daily News out of Columbus, Ohio. It says, in recognition of Elder Abuse Awareness Month, AARP Ohio is calling the state to address the need for fully staffed nursing facilities, as well as enact legislation that will increase the safety of residents in nursing facilities. A recent report provided by the AARP Nursing Home Dashboard indicates that for nearly 2 years, the percentage of Ohio nursing homes reporting staffing shortages have consistently been at or above the national average. With the latest reporting period, nearly 40% of nursing facilities throughout the state are still experiencing staffing shortages exceeding the national average. According to Holly Holton, State Director of AARP Ohio, staffing shortages are persistent across the state and can directly impact the quality of care residents receive. AARP has been a strong advocate in protecting vulnerable populations and has supported bills that work to reduce abuse and neglect, including Esther's Law. If those of you don't know, Esther's Law is went in effect on March 23rd, which allowed nursing home residents or family members to install video monitoring in their room. She goes on to say, currently we are advocating for additional legislation that can address these issues for residents and staff. Transparency and how taxpayer dollars are spent is key to ensuring patient quality and care. So again, these are things that are going on. AARP Ohio also supports HB 461 in Ohio, which establishes a private room payday rate to be added as part of a nursing facility's per Medicaid day payment rate calculation. According to AARP, it says research has consistently shown that higher levels of registered nurse staffing are associated with better resident care quality in multiple areas, including decreased infections, fewer bed sores, and lower mortality rates. AARP is fighting here in Ohio for important legislation that addresses staffing shortages and other chronic issues in nursing homes. Any solutions for staffing shortages must keep the safety of the patients at the forefront. AARP supports the work underway at both the state and federal levels to make meaningful improvements. So we'll keep an eye on that story as it develops and see what measures are taken by the state of Ohio. So let's turn to California. This is coming out of California, and this is from Cal Matters. This article is lawmakers weaken California nursing home bill and sponsors yank their support. So in summary, after lawmakers scaled back a California nursing home licensing bill, critics said that it would let the worst operators thrive, but other advocates insist that it's still a step in the right direction. A group of advocates that has long fought to reform the state's troubled nursing home licensing system is now attempting to kill legislation it sponsored, calling the amended bill, quote, a step backwards. Instead of the major reform that the nursing home licensing system needs, AB 1502 now codifies and endorses the current system, a system that has nourished the worst operators in the state, wrote Patricia McGinnis, executive director of the California Advocates for Nursing Home Reform. She sent her letter of opposition to Dr. Richard Pan, chair of the Senate Health Committee, scheduled to hear the bill this afternoon. But the bill's authors and other healthcare advocates say the bill, as amended, still represents important progress in the state's efforts to better regulate who owns and operates nursing homes. Democratic Assembly members Al Marisucha of Los Angeles and Jim Wood of Santa Rosa, the bill's co-authors, said Tuesday they intended to move the bill forward despite the new opposition from its sponsors. And even in the 48 hours leading up to today's hearing, Marisucci said he would continue to tweak key details in hopes of finding a compromise that all sides could agree upon. So in this story, it says that the Department of Public Health has a wide range of nursing home responsibilities, including licensing. The department is responsible for routine inspecting the state's 1,200 nursing homes to ensure that they're meeting federal standards. It says the original language of the bill would have established strict suitability standards, including 10-year history checks for new owners, a public process for vetting them, and annual reports to the legislature by the Department of Public Health. The amended language takes out some of these provisions, has shorter history checks, and institutes smaller discretionary financial penalties in lieu of more significant ones. So that's where some of those changes are. So it's the whole shell game that they have of your nursing home gets into trouble, so you dissolve that organization and reopen under a different name, but you have pretty much the same owners and the same staff, and nothing really changes. You just change your name. So I think this is what it's trying to address. So we'll see what happens in this legislation and see how it carries forward, because as one state goes, this has a domino effect in other states as well. So we'll see what happens with this California bill. Okay. I wanted to share this case because I am highlighting some of the things that we should not do as nurses, and some of these ethical and legal dilemmas that we may find ourselves in, that to me it's a cautionary tale and a warning. So this comes from the state out of South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. A nurse has pleaded guilty to lying about making fake COVID vaccination cards. So it says a 53-year-old Columbia nurse pleaded guilty Wednesday morning in federal court to lying to federal agents about whether she produced phony COVID-19 vaccination cards for non-vaccinated people. So Judge Terry Wooten asked her how does she plead, and she pleaded guilty as she was standing by her lawyer. Lying to a federal agent is a felony with a 5-year maximum prison sentence. Evidence in the case showed that McDonald had produced the phony cards last June at a family gathering and again in July to help, quote, various family members, Assistant U.S. Attorney Derek Shoemake told Wooten. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm bringing this up, because nurses, listen to me carefully. Do not let your family pressure you into doing something that is illegal, okay, in the cause of helping them. If they want to do that, that's on them, but you protect your nursing license. You protect your livelihood. And so be very careful about allowing family members to pressure you to do things that are not legal. So it says McDonald knew the individuals for whom she was producing the sham cards, quote, did not, in fact, receive the vaccine as noted on the cards, Shoemake said. A tipster provided initial information in the case following a complaint with the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control that McDonald was giving false COVID vaccination cards to others. Federal agents from the FBI and the Health and Human Services investigated the matter. They confronted McDonald at work. She told the agent she had never given anyone a false COVID-19 vaccination card. McDonald will be sentenced on September the 20th. She's free on bond. Until then, Wooten said that whether he gives McDonald prison or probation depends on matters such as how cooperative she is and the results of a pre-sentence investigation between now and September. So she was originally charged back in November with an indictment with 2 counts of producing sham COVID-19 vaccine cards. Evidence in her case indicated she used real vaccination cards and filled them out with information indicating individuals had been vaccinated when in fact they had not. So again, this is whether you believe it or not, whether you believe in the vaccine or not, you can't go around making fake cards for people. That is illegal. And so I'm bringing that up because we all have families, and sometimes our families are like, come on cuz, hook me up, you know how it is, and we cannot do that. So let's go ahead and fix this. Okay? So let's go on to our next story, which is a story of nurses making a difference, which I really liked. And so these are our nursing making a difference segment, and this is coming from the Emergency Nurses Association. It says long-lasting contributions earned two nurses the 2022 ENA Foundation Award. So I want to say congratulations to these nurses. So it's on Wednesday, the ENA Foundation announced the latest recipients of its Cornerstone Award and Keystone Award, which will be presented during Emergency Nurses Week in 2022 in Denver to two longtime ENA members. Cornerstone Award recipient Patty Kuntz Howard, PhD, RN, CEN, CPN, TCRN, BEBC, FAEN, FAAN of Kentucky. And again, I'm not making jokes or making light of her, but it's the alphabet soup that I was talking about. And she deserves every last one of those accolades. But I just, you know what? Sometimes you just got to put it out there. Why not give her all that she's due? Is being honored for her significant contributions to the ENA Foundation through her ENA tenure. Patty is known to be a strong advocate for the ENA Foundation, who relentlessly encourages her local and state chapters to engage in fundraising efforts and foundation-sponsored challenges. In addition to her own personal donations and encouraging others to participate, Patty has served on the ENA Foundation Board of Trustees, including a term as a chairperson in 2009. During her 2 terms as ENA president, Patty was a loud voice for the foundation and urged members to support the advancement of research and education. She proudly developed an annual ENA Foundation scholarship in honor of her late father, Charles Kuntz, solidifying her commitment to maintaining a legacy of giving. Keystone Award recipient Joan Soames, PhD, MSN, RN, CEN, CPEN, RNBC, FAEN of Minnesota, is being honored for her undisputed willingness to support the ENA Foundation. Joan annually donates to the ENA Foundation in support of its mission, but will go above and beyond the call by making an additional donation to push a state-level scholarship beyond the minimum threshold. Joan's competitive side is made clear as she continually checks where Minnesota ENA ranks and encourages additional donations from local and state members to boost giving. She identifies unique ways to raise additional funds, such as high tea fundraisers, CNN reviews, and silent auctions. Joan also donates her time by attending other chapters' events to assist leaders in finding ways to increase their fundraising efforts. So, from Jeff Solheim, the ENA Foundation chair, he states that both are so deserving of these awards, and I can't thank them enough for their endless contributions to this great foundation we have. Their generous giving has supported many emergency nurses who are seeking to advance their education or gain help to attend ENA's annual conferences. So congratulations to these wonderful nurses who are making a difference, and according to their press release, since 1991, the ENA Foundation has awarded approximately $5.3 million to more than 2,300 emergency nurses to help them earn degrees, expand their skills through continuing education, and conduct research projects directly related to emergency nursing and led by nurse researchers. Congratulations to those nurses. And I have one more nurse making a difference, and I found the story intriguing and I wanted to share it, and I was so pleased to do so. This is coming from Fresno State News, and this is a nursing faculty member returns from 13th medical mission trip. It says the city of Duali in central Ecuador is well known for its production of rice, but like many other cities of South America, it is similarly renowned as an area of great poverty with limited access to medical services. Dr. Brian Toon, an assistant professor of nursing at Fresno State, went abroad in May to serve with a team of volunteers for Medical Ministry International. Toon is a 2-time Fresno State alumnus who earned his bachelor's degree in 2001 and his family nurse practitioner degree in 2004. now a certified registered nurse anesthetist. He said the annual trip serves as a quote reset button, reminding him of reasons why he pursued the educational and career paths he did. His recent trip to Diwali was the 13th such medical missions trip Toon had taken over the course of his nearly 20-year career. In addition to several countries in South America, he has provided missionary service to the people in Central America, Africa, and Haiti. He says some communities in Diwali have little to no access to medical services, or where there is access, people struggle with money and resources for required and essential medical surgical care. The project Toon participated in was focused on providing gynecological surgical care, general surgery care, and cleft lip and cleft palate reconstruction. A great emphasis was also placed on preventative and primary care. It was part of the quote Healthy Woman Project under the Preservation of Life program and provided specialized women health care. He states, during this mission, we focus on women's health issues to help extend or improve quality of life. Among the procedures, Toon said the group of 27 volunteers, surgeons, physicians, nurse practitioners, nurses, nursing students, and more performed hysterectomies, oophorectomies, and provided pediatric care in the form of surgeries for cleft lip and palate for children who suffer from disfiguring deformities that limit their ability to lead a normal life. He says, we didn't choose the agenda chose us. So congratulations to Dr. Brian Toon, Assistant Professor of Nursing at Fresno State, and all the many volunteers of the Medical Ministry International. We salute you. And you are our nurse making a difference. All right, that ends our news segment. So I just want to talk about a couple of things really quick coming up. So those of you who have been on the Nurse Shark Academy page know that we just ended our challenge. And I wanted to say I thank those nurses that participated and watched the challenge and decided to build their own audacious dream. And I want us to have something special to come up. So I'm planning something special for those of you that are in the Nurse Shark Academy. A special session for you that will help you as you want to further your business and your dream. And this came to me as we were doing our Real Talk recap in my family room today. I'm in a community called 100X, and we were talking about it. And some of the things that we talked about really touched me. Was using the challenges as part of my personal development, but also I wanted to use a challenge as part of your personal development. And as we were talking about the imposter syndrome, I think I want to do a special session on just that, on helping us to address that mindset and that imposter syndrome, to change us from that mindset of I can't to I can. And so we'll be thinking about that and moving forward. We're going to have a special session on that. We're just going to do a Facebook Live and hop on and just do the thing. So I look forward to that on our Nurse Shark Academy page. Those of you that are on our Baxter Professional Services page, you can come to the Nurse Shark Academy page. We don't mind. Come and join us and watch those segments there. We live stream from the Baxter Professional Services page for our Facebook Live to the live stream on the Nurse Shark Academy. So, but this one will be exclusive for the Nurse Shark Academy. If you want to watch it, you can catch it over there. So we'll be planning that for next month. I look forward to seeing you and working with all of you, and I want you to have an awesome day. Before I go, I'm also going to do something a little bit special on our Baxter Professional Services page, which I will also stream to our Facebook page. We're going to do a special live event. I want to have and that's coming up next month as well, for July 4th. I want to have a special freedom event for July 4th, and we're going to be talking about how to protect your legal rights And I'm going to make this a Ladies of Justice event. I'm going to host it here. We're going to have it. You can join us and ask questions and be a part of this live. But we're going to talk about how to have access to your legal rights in an affordable way, because with July 4th coming up, we just had Juneteenth. Now we got July 4th. And I want people to have access to the justice system, because I believe everyone deserves access to the justice system. And I don't want you to have to check your pocketbook before you check your legal rights. And so I want to do something very special just for that. We're going to go live on July 4th, and we're going to talk about that very issue and make that a Ladies of Justice event. And if you would like to be entered into the drawing for a free prize during that event, then I'll give you instructions on how to do that so that you get access to the free prize that I'm going to offer. And I'm probably going to offer more than one, because that's just the way I am. I like to give. And so if you come and you let me know that you're there and you're watching the video and you send me the information that I need, I will put you in for the free prize. So that's coming up in July. We'll be having those two big events. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And we are out.